You go into Costco for three things: eggs, paper towels, and chicken. That's it. Very normal. Very responsible. 40 minutes later, you're standing in the parking lot staring at a $347 receipt, loading enough food into your trunk to feed a family of 6. Even though there are only 3 people in your house and one of them changes favorite snacks every 4 days. And the crazy part is you still feel smart. That's the Costco trap. It doesn't make people feel irresponsible. It makes them feel responsible while they quietly spend more, waste more, and put even more pressure on their monthly budget. And that's why this trap is so dangerous. Because buying in bulk can save you money. For the right household, it absolutely works. But for a lot of middle-class Americans, it does the exact opposite. It turns groceries into clutter, deals into waste, and one shopping trip into a weird financial illusion where spending more feels like winning. Look, if you save 20% on something you never finish, you didn't save 20%. You paid 80% for trash. And in America, that happens constantly. The USDA estimates that 30 to 40% of the food supply gets wasted. That is an insane number. And the EPA estimates the average family of 4 loses almost $3,000 a year on food that never gets eaten. So before we even get into bulk discounts, understand this. Americans are already extremely good at turning groceries into garbage. Here's where Costco makes that problem worse. It changes the question in your head. You stop asking, "What do I need this week?" and start asking, "What would be smart to stock up on?" That sounds mature. It sounds financially disciplined. But those are not the same thing. Need is based on real life. Stocking up is based on fantasy. Fantasy you meal preps, fantasy you uses all the spinach. Fantasy you definitely finishes the industrial-sized hummus before it starts looking suspicious. Real you gets tired on Thursday, orders takeout, and forgets half the produce in the bottom drawer. That's what this video is really about. Not whether Costco is good or bad, but why bulk shopping only works if your habits match the volume. Because for a shocking number of people, warehouse shopping doesn't lower spending. It just front-loads it, hides the waste, and makes overbuying feel like discipline. Take Sarah and Mike. They're both 34. Mike works in IT. Sarah's a dental hygienist. Together they make about $118,000 a year. On paper, they should feel pretty solid. In reality, they've got a mortgage, 2 car payments, daycare, insurance, utilities, and that constant background feeling that money leaves faster than it comes in. So they do what a lot of normal American families do. They try to get smarter, more efficient, less random spending. They buy the Costco membership and tell themselves this is how disciplined people shop. And at first, it feels like they're right. The cart looks efficient. The pantry looks full. The unit prices are lower. They walk out feeling like they cracked the code. But then real life shows up. The giant spring mix gets soggy. The avocados all ripen at the same time like they planned an attack. One of the kids suddenly decides yogurt is disgusting even though last week it was apparently the center of his universe. The muffins were such a good deal that everybody ate them twice as fast. And by Thursday, Sarah still has to stop at a regular grocery store for milk, bananas, and the one ingredient they forgot. So now they've done the big money-saving Costco run and the regular grocery run. That's the trap. Not that Costco is overpriced. Costco is actually very good at what it does. The trap is that it makes people buy like a household with perfect habits, perfect planning, perfect consistency, perfect food preferences, and that household does not exist. This is why lower unit prices can be so misleading. A cheaper price per ounce only matters if you use the ounces. If you buy 24 yogurts and throw away 8, your savings are gone. If you buy a giant snack box and your family tears through it faster because it's always there, you didn't reduce spending. You just made consumption easier. Bulk is basically a bigger plate for your financial life. And bigger plates usually mean bigger portions. The psychology behind this is sneaky, because overspending at Costco doesn't feel like overspending. It feels like optimization. You're not wasting money on random nonsense, at least that's what your brain tells you. You're buying in bulk. You're planning ahead. You're being strategic. But warehouse stores are really good at wrapping impulse spending in the language of discipline. You came in for detergent and leave with protein bars, frozen appetizers, premium coffee, seasonal snacks, and one completely unnecessary item that felt too cheap to pass up. The deal framing cleans up the impulse, makes it look respectable. And then there's cash flow, which is where this gets painful. Most households do not have endless breathing room. So when a family spends $300 or $400 on a giant shopping trip to save over time, what they're often really doing is spending future grocery money today. Sometimes that's fine. But if your monthly budget is already tight, that giant, smart trip can make the rest of the month worse. Now the checking account feels squeezed. Maybe the credit card absorbs part of it. Maybe you still need fill-in trips anyway. So even if the price per unit looked amazing, your actual monthly spending may have gone up. That's exactly what happened to Sarah and Mike. Before Costco, they spent around $850 a month on groceries and household basics. After switching to bulk first shopping, their main trips averaged about $320 every 2 weeks. Then came another $250 or so in fill-in shopping, because warehouse stores do not magically solve fresh produce, forgotten ingredients, or unpredictable cravings. Now they're around $890 to $950 a month, and that's before waste. Add in the food that expires, gets freezer burned, or just never gets used, and suddenly their money-saving system is costing them closer to $1,000. That's the big reveal. Bulk shopping only works when your household behavior matches the inventory. You need enough people, enough storage, enough consistency, and enough discipline to turn bulk into actual savings. Otherwise, you are not optimizing. You are just running a tiny grocery warehouse out of your kitchen with terrible forecasting. And forecasting is where people get crushed. Most of us do not buy food for the life we actually live. We buy food for the life we hope to live. The healthy week, the organized week, the week where nobody gets busy, nobody eats out, nobody changes their mind, and every dinner goes exactly according to plan. Bulk shopping makes those mistakes more expensive. If you guess wrong at a normal grocery store, it's annoying. If you guess wrong in bulk, now you have 6 pounds of regret in the freezer. Storage makes it worse. People act like storage is free. It's not. A crowded fridge is harder to manage. A packed pantry hides duplicates. A jammed freezer turns food into archaeology. You don't use what you can't see. And when you can't see it, you forget it, rebuy it, and eventually throw it away. That's how families end up with 3 open bags of shredded cheese and enough rice to survive a recession while still saying groceries are somehow out of control. Now, to be fair, Costco is great for some households. Big families, roommates splitting staples, parents buying diapers, paper towels, cleaning supplies, and things they use constantly. People who portion meat the same day actually meal plan and mostly buy non-perishables. For them, bulk can absolutely work. But that's what makes the trap so sneaky. Something can be good in theory and still be bad for your household. A lower unit price is only a win if it lowers your total monthly spending. So here's the rule. Stop asking, is this cheaper per unit? Start asking, will my household actually finish this at the speed of real life? Real life speed is the only speed that matters. Not optimistic Sunday speed. Not New Year's resolution speed. Real Tuesday night after work speed. Real tired parent speed. Real we ordered pizza because nobody had the energy speed. If the math only works in your fantasy week, the math does not work. There's a second rule. Separate true staples from temptation items. Bulk toilet paper? Great. Bulk detergent? Fine. Bulk diapers? Absolutely. Bulk muffins, giant snack boxes, novelty treats, and family-size versions of stuff people only kind of like? Dangerous. Because now you're not saving on essentials. You're just making it easier to overeat and overspend. And here's the fix. Make 2 lists. One is always used. The other is we should probably stop pretending. If something has been thrown away half-used, forgotten in the freezer, or bought because this time will be different, it belongs on the second list. Next, judge savings by total dollars, not by percentages. Saving 18% on something you didn't need is not saving. The spending with flattering math. Then cap most bulk food purchases to what your household can realistically finish in about a month unless it's truly shelf-stable and always gets used. And finally, compare your total monthly grocery spending, not your feelings during the shopping trip. Because Costco is very good at making you feel smart in the moment. And that's why this trap catches so many normal people. It doesn't look reckless. It looks disciplined. It looks like planning. It looks like adulthood. But if your pantry is packed, your fridge is crowded, your card balance is higher, and you still need midweek grocery runs, then you're not saving money. You're just storing expensive intentions. So no, the answer is not to avoid Costco forever. The answer is to stop confusing quantity with wisdom. A bigger package is not automatically a better decision. A lower unit price is not automatically savings. And a full cart is definitely not proof that you're winning. The people who get ahead financially usually aren't the ones chasing the biggest deal. They're the ones quietly matching spending to real life over and over again. Because the system already knows you love feeling like you got a bargain. That's why the trap works. Your job is to care less about the deal and more about the outcome. Less about how cheap it looked per ounce, more about how much actually got used. Less about the warehouse high, more about the monthly number. And once you start thinking that way, a lot of smart purchases start looking a lot less smart. The next time you're holding a 48-pack of something your family sort of likes, ask the uncomfortable question. Are we buying this because it's cheaper? Or because buying a lot feels like being good with money? Those are very different things. And learning the difference might save you way more than the deal ever will.